Hey, everyone. I'm Tori Humphreys. I am a professional life coach here to help creatives move from abstract ideas to concrete realities. And I am so excited for today because we are covering 5 ways to reimagine your creativity. But before we get into it, I would love just to share a little bit about myself. So I am a mom of 2 boys and also a wife to my amazing husband. And we have a bunch of fun. So #boymom. And so our household's a bunch of fun. So I would love, before we also get into it, just to start with some breathing. So I want to introduce you to, if you haven't heard it already, box breathing. Pretty basic. I actually like physically making a box because it's easier. So the idea is that you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. And I'll just do that with you all. Okay, so let's just start off with a couple of deep breaths. We're all coming from different places. Maybe this is the middle of your day and you are in work or whatever and you're taking a break. So let's just pause for a moment. So just breathe in through your nose and breathe out. In through your nose and out through your mouth. One more time. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Great. Now just feel free to soften your gaze or close your eyes as we begin to do a few box breathing. Okay. All right. So go ahead and breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. So I hope that breathing exercise was helpful. So we're going to go ahead and set an intention for today. So depending on how you see your creativity right now, I just encourage you just to think about how satisfied you are with your creativity and set an intention. Maybe you are comfortable, but still would like to know maybe some techniques of how you can improve. Or maybe you're just stuck and you could really use some help with moving forward. So just think about it and set an intention for what you would want this time today to look like in this webinar. So I'll just give you a second to do that. Today, for me, I would say my intention is just to be present in the moment and really just enjoy this time with you. So, that's my intention. Now, the next thing that we'll do is just think about your level of satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 10. How satisfied are you with your creativity? 1 being not at all satisfied, 10 being completely satisfied. And if your number is like, say your number is like a 7 or 5, whatever, really flesh that out. What does a 5 look like? Maybe it's like, okay, I feel confident enough to perform in front of people as a singer, but I have trouble like being nervous before I perform or something like that. So really just flesh out what that number means to you. Okay, awesome. So let's get into it. I'll say the first thing for reimagining your creativity is self-reflection. And all of these things are things that I do myself for my own creativity and really getting into that. So just think about yourself and examine yourself to discover when you've been inspired and have felt creative in the past and what made you inspired. This can be from people, places, even feelings that you've had based from different experiences that you've had. And understanding the thoughts and feelings behind your creativity can remind us how to experience it in the future. So maybe if you've been disconnected right now with your creativity, thinking back to a time when, hey, I remember a couple of years ago when I was playing my guitar with a few friends, I really felt connected with my creativity and really thinking about why that was. So for me personally, I'll say in 2020, obviously it was a difficult time for everybody. I was just coming out of postpartum depression after having our first son, and it was just really difficult because it was really isolating already and having to overcome like this depression that I was going through and just was really at a low spot. I was trying to learn how to redo my job from an online perspective, as a lot of other people had to do while managing, my son at home. So it was really difficult. It was also the same time, though, that Hamilton came out, which I think it's the first hip hop musical, at least that I'm aware of, and has mostly a minority or all minority cast. And that was something that was super inspirational for me, and I loved it. My favorite song on there is Satisfied, and it is, if you haven't watched Hamilton, I would highly recommend it. And Satisfied is such a complex song that I immediately drew to it. I loved it. And even going through everything I was going through, it was such a light in a dark place. So it was really encouraging for me. So also at my church, we were having a Houston's First Got Talent. And this was I want to say it was August or September. And I had already started writing a parody for this particular song. And I was so inspired by it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. And so I finished writing a parody for it. I came up in the song, she's singing, and Angelica, the role, is singing. And there's also a rap in there. And I came up with a rap, the song, and different movements for both me and my husband to do for this performance. And it was super fun, and it was just really inspirational. And so from just that example, I learned for myself that finding musicals and complex songs are really inspirational for me as a singer. And yeah, I like also contests, doing contests and things like that. We actually ended up winning second place, which was amazing, though I think we should have won first. But yeah, it was a good time. And it was like I said, a light in a very dark season. So yeah, recall the memories that you have of creating and what feelings that it brought about for you. And discover what about that memory brought that creativity for you, that life in your creativity that maybe you haven't had in other areas, and understanding why. So that's the first thing. The second thing is building a supportive community. It can be easier to get inspired when you have even just a few friends who share the same passions that you do, or at least are willing to support you in what you're doing. Both would be great if you have it, but yeah, I would highly recommend that. Also, if you want more information, I have a creative group on Facebook that you can join if you're looking for more community. One of the things from my coaching program that we learned is energy attracts like energy, which basically means that when you are surrounded by other people who are like you, you just draw towards people who are like you. And I found that, when I talk about my passions and what I love, it's easier to find other like-minded people. So if you find yourself struggling with even sharing and talking about your passions, it might be more difficult to find other people who like to do the same things that you do. So, so get out of your comfort zone and reach out and start sharing the things that you love, even if it might be scary for you, which would make sense if it was. So that way you can find like-minded people. So I'm just going to give you an example. Like I said, I'm a singer, love singing. I've gotten away from it for a while, mostly because I haven't been surrounded by a lot of people. Like my closest friends, they don't sing really. So, but I'm getting back into being in spaces where singing is important to some other friends of mine, and just really meeting more frequently in those areas. And I can tell you that for my creativity, it has been one of the best things. And I'm more excited, and just finding those spaces has been really incredible. So when you have a passion or want to do something, sometimes you just have to go out of your way to find others who have that same passion as you. And when you do find them, you'll feel at home. So just consider, who do you have to support in your creativity? And also consider who you're supporting. Supporting others can also be inspirational and help you develop your creativity as well. Next thing, 3. Now, this is really important. Do multiple things that you love. Sometimes we may get caught up in being a part of a particular box. Like, this is who people know us as, and this is even how we identify ourselves as. But you don't have to choose between the things that you love. So not many people know this, but like I said I wrote a parody, but I write parodies on the regular and love doing like comedy skits and things like that in my free time. And all the avenues of creativity for me include being a coach, singer, writing, but also, I consider myself to be pretty funny. And so, so I love writing skits, like funny skits. Now, right now, I don't really have like a place to, or even time to do comedy. But I find a lot of joy in creating it. And so it's just a hobby that I do right now. And so even if you're not able to invest all of your time in a passion that you have, an area of creativity, you can still, have a designated time just to, have a little bit of that creativity, maybe at home or whatever. And that can still be a part of you. And if there's an opportunity that opens up for you to be able to use that, well, then you can definitely take it. So, but yeah, you don't have to choose between what you're doing, because you are more than just maybe one area of your creativity, and you can use that in multiple different areas. So yeah, and so think about it. What other areas can you exercise your creativity? What have you thought? And it could be something that you may not have even tried before. Listen, I am not great at painting at all, but every once in a while I do enjoy, it's relaxing for me, and so I like painting. So think about what that is for you. Number 4, notice your surroundings. Inspiration can literally come from anywhere, and it can enhance your creativity. So I encourage you, go outside in nature or just see things that are around you and just think about how those things can be utilized in your creativity. Sometimes it's watching other creatives, perform or making projects, but slowing ourselves down to paying attention to the things around us. A lot of times, busyness can get in the way of us actually being able to see all of the creativity that is around us. So I have a friend, she actually recommended this, taking notes, like keeping a notebook with you or writing it on your phone, like when you see something that catches your eye, and just really taking a mental picture of that and describing what that is for you in whatever creative outlet that you desire. So yesterday, me and my son, my youngest son, Jordan, went to the Chicago's Women's Park, which is on the near south side of Chicago. There's a coffee shop with like an indoor area for kids to play. However, when we went, it was closed. And normally I might get frustrated and then just like give up and go home. But on the outside is this beautiful garden area. I had pictures to show you, but for whatever reason, it's not giving me the option to share. But yeah, so right outside, it's such a beautiful garden. And I was just taking in all of the beauty, even though it was kind of rainy and gross yesterday, just taking in the beauty of, there was a fountain that was there and beautiful buildings and just like an open space for us to chill and relax. Now, what was beautiful for me was different for my son, my 1-year-old. There was these really gross, like tennis balls that had been eaten by, not eaten, but chewed on by dogs, and like a few other toys that were out there. Now he found that to be beautiful. He gravitated towards that and like wanted to play with these gross balls and stuff. But, and then also there was like a drain that had muddy water on it, and he gravitated towards those things. Why am I pointing this out to you? Thinking about the things that are beautiful for us may be different for other people. And so having a non-judgmental approach, like if you find something that's beautiful around you, or even something that may be disgusting, it doesn't even have to be beautiful. It can be something that could be gross to you, and describing it can still be creative, and just really being not non-judgmental in yourself, even if other people may, disagree with that, and allowing yourself the freedom to be able to, appreciate your surroundings. So, so the activity that I recommend for you is just either taking a physical picture or a mental screenshot of moments in your day, and taking in everything with your 5 senses to really almost place yourself back to that moment where you can describe it, and using whatever creative outlet to be able to show that. And I think that will help with enhancing your creativity, especially if it's just like what's in front of you. If you are describing something that's right in front of you constantly in different spaces, you're going to enhance your creativity because you're going to think differently about it. And lastly is be confident. Now, this is really the money maker right here, because a lot of our creativity comes down to our confidence level. And just look at yourself. Look, you're an inspiration. If you're doing something, you're doing it in a way that nobody else is, because you're you and no one else is you. So taking time to believe this can make a drastic difference. Just like others inspire you, you need to believe that you also have everything that you need to inspire other people. So have confidence even when you make mistakes. Here's my definition of confidence. I believe that we are the most confident when we are most accepting of ourselves, mistakes and all. So being confident is accepting the whole of who you are, not just part of it, all of who you are. So recently my mom called me, I want to say it was maybe a month ago or so. My grandma had just passed, and she asked me if I could sing at my grandma's funeral. Immediately I said yes, but fear began to settle in and I was afraid. I was afraid of messing up, and I believed that if I wasn't perfect in singing, people wouldn't think I could sing and that my voice would be worthless. Not to mention the fear of ruining my grandma's funeral and disappointing my mom and my family. So I told myself I needed to practice. But I struggled between practicing too much and too little because I wasn't confident in myself. And I had all these thoughts that were so overwhelming to me that just reminded me that I really felt like I couldn't do it and it wouldn't be good enough. And even though I prepped a lot and prepared, that wasn't the confidence that I was really trying. It wasn't the confidence that I was looking for. You can't get confidence in just believing that you need to be perfect. So I was holding myself to a standard that was only proud of me based upon how I sounded and how others responded to me. Yet somehow in the same vein, I knew that this was an opportunity to share her legacy. And something about that gave me more confidence because I saw at the funeral, before I sang, I saw myself in my grandma and the things that were passed down. And so seeing her legacy in me gave me more confidence. And even though I had all these different emotions happening, I had a peace. So it wasn't about being perfect. It was about sharing the truth of who I knew her to be and how my whole family was impacted as a result. So, and thinking about this allowed me to accept myself and my singing however it came. And I felt reassured by God that I was valuable no matter how I sounded. So when it came time to sing, I was relieved to see that the song I chose it was aligned with everything else that was happening. And the song, the timing, everything. And I'm going to be really honest. I was crying before singing, during, and after. It didn't necessarily sound how I anticipated it, but I was 100% real, and I felt confident in myself, and I also felt connected to my family in a way that I don't know if I had ever felt before. So confidence comes from who you are and not what you do. So our makeup, our essence, down to the very core. And that's what I felt in that moment. And so I just want to encourage you as you're considering your own confidence level, what might be getting in the way of you experiencing that confidence. Is it a stepping stone of all these things that you have to do in order to feel confident? Because if that's the case, it sounds like you may not be fully accepting yourself. So how much of you is reflected when you sing, dance, paint, write, rap? And just observe that. And observe when you have felt confident and why, and when you haven't. So that's pretty much all of the things that I have for you today. If you want to continue to explore these 5 ways, I have a free workbook. If you're interested, I can send that to you if you message me or email me. And also, if you're just looking to enhance your creativity and just want additional help, also reach out to me as well. And we can just chat about it and see. So thanks for watching. And as always, I love to say this at the end of my videos, remember that your worth isn't measured by likes, comments, or Zelle payments. Your value is immeasurable regardless of what lies ahead of you. Thanks for watching. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.